Hello and welcome back to Goswick Lane. We have a special guest, just one, because this guy's been on the show a few times already. It's actually it's kind of our show now. This is what this is going to be. When Genty's here, it's going to be our show. So, our special guest, welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you.
From Central Title. Central Title is a closing agency. Is that how you would say that?
Title company.
Oh, what now?
Title company.
Title company. Okay, that's better. That's why I'm not in your shoes over there. That's why we put your name on your seat like a famous person. So what she does is she closes jobs out. She does title for purchases and sales. And we really just want to deep dive into her brain and her job today as much as possible within 20 minutes of what she does and how we can better educate people, agents, customers that are going through the closing process. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
First of all, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been doing this?
So January will actually be 5 years.
Okay.
So right after I think Genty started in
It's about the same time.
Yeah, just about the same time. So 5 years. Yep.
You guys work together a lot?
A lot.
Yeah.
She's one of those that I can call anytime.
Okay.
Always available. And if she doesn't know the answer, she gets it.
So as an agent, are you at the title company that's chosen? Who gets to do that?
Generally, it's the seller.
Okay. Can you steer?
I mean, you can request, the buyers can request, I equate it again to hiring an agent. You're going to marry these people for 30 to 45 days. And so if you do have poor communication, then the file can lack. The buyers can get frustrated, the sellers can get frustrated. But if you have somebody that can communicate well, like Lindsay does, and her team, then it makes it smooth, easy.
So if you got, it's the same aspect, right? You got a good real estate agent, you can get stuff done quicker because you're communicating better. You got a good closing agent, you can get stuff done quicker. Hey, let me ask you a question. How come you can't close a house in like 10 days?
Well, a lot of agents think that you can, and they think you can have it's cash. We're going to close it in 7 days. But a lot of them don't understand what we do necessarily, that we have to research every file just the same way, no matter if it's cash or it has a lender. Now, of course, when it's cash, we don't have a lender, so you do take out if the lender has a delay. But as far as the actual research that we do into title, it takes the same amount of time whether or not it's cash or it has a lender.
Okay.
So that's an expectation a lot of people have that's cash, so it should be done just like that, and that's not always the case.
And that's not just agents. That's
true.
Buyers and sellers too. They think, oh, I have plenty of people that call me and say, hey, when I'm going to bring a sack of money to title. No, you're not.
Unless you want to do like a quip deed. Is that what it's called? Quip deed?
Quit claim deed. Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't want I have a lot of people that investors call me and say, yeah, I did that. And I'm like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. No, because you don't know what's going to come back to you.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what we do.
It's basically just a piece of paper transferring without doing any research, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, and that's another thing that Lindsay does is if I have a scenario, I can call with that scenario, and she's going to walk me through that. Even though there's not a file there per se, I'm going to bring the file there.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to bring that scenario there, even if I'm not working the deal. If it's just a for sale by owner, I'll send them, to Lindsay because I know that I can check up on it if it's a close friend of mine and they're doing a deal to do.
Why? We're going to talk about why, and then we're going to talk about how. Why do we go through the closing process?
Well, just like you said, when you do a deed just from one person to one person, you don't have any other research that goes into that. So what we do when we open a file is we're going to start researching through the deed records to make sure there's no outstanding liens. There's no what's called cloud in title. It could be a problem in the title, the chain of title. So we're going to make sure there's no outstanding liens, that there aren't heirs from 50 years ago that were never dealt with that now have an interest in the property that nobody knew about, that there's not tax liens or judgments against, the sellers that are going to could come up later if we don't address them before we close, to make sure that you have a clear title to the property that you're purchasing.
That's good. So let's walk through the process, and you kind of went into it there, but typical time frame for a normal deal is about how long?
Generally about 30 days.
Okay.
So, like if we've closed a file before, like say we closed it in 2017, and we've already done all the research prior to that.
Okay.
So that could be a pretty quick turnaround because we only have to come forward from 2017.
Okay.
But when you start talking about acreage or family homes that have been in the in the family for years and years, we have to research sometimes back to the sovereignty of Texas. I mean, through
That sounds like a lot of work.
it's a lot
Lindsay.
of work. Yeah. The abstractors that do all that, they're special people. I could never do that job.
So you don't do back that far.
I do not.
Is there
I
a
don't
certain level
abstract.
that you go back to? That's called abstract?
It's called abstracting.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't do that at all. They
Okay.
find all that stuff, and then what they do is prepare me what's called a commitment, a title commitment.
Okay.
And essentially what that is a document that says, here are all the things that we have to clear up before we can close. And if we can do all that, we can issue an insurance policy to you.
Okay.
So they find all that stuff for me. They are a special group of ladies.
What happens when abstract finds these errors? Do they start calling those people?
Nope. That's where we come in.
That's when you go
Okay.
to work.
They're
He
gonna-
does.
We do, yeah.
Y'all just give them a list. This is what we found.
This is
these
what we
people.
found. Yeah.
But
Do
it's
y'all
not
trace-
that easy.
Do y'all trace down the errors for him, or is that your job?
She's
at
really
that
good
point?
about tracing down errors before I can get to them. Sometimes I can get to them, but a lot of times she's like, "I'll call this person." This,
Yeah.
private investigator.
Man, yes. And then you
Facebook.
got to do. Do you have a skip tracing? Anything that does skip trace?
Mm-mm.
Skip trace is just like a software you can. Landmen use it, and they basically put the address of the property in, and it finds like 18 phone numbers for the people
wow.
that could own it.
Yeah.
But you cannot have a skip tracing program unless you show validity to the company that offers that program. It's pretty interesting.
Well,
That's
we just closed a deal like that. I think I found the guy on Facebook and chased him down. Was trying to get him to sign. It didn't have anything to do with him. He wasn't going to have any. Wasn't going to have to pay anything, but he didn't want to sign. And so we had to alternatively.
Why didn't he want to sign? And what was it? What
he
was the situation of why he had to sign without
It was
attorney-client
basically-
privilege, whatever?
It was an error in deeds from many, many, many years ago.
Okay.
Essentially, without giving out too much information, he deeded a lot of property to somebody else that he didn't intend to do.
Right.
Oh.
So
Or
really
wherever
it
he
was-
closed it, whoever
Right.
closed that file
Okay.
unintentionally did that,
Well, I think
whatever.
the problem with that was he didn't close it at a title company. He just went to
Ah.
an attorney and got him to draw up a deed, and they did the deed wrong.
And so you have to go through I mean, that's what makes these files hard. And if you don't have the right team on them, they can fall apart, or they'll let them fall apart. I deal with a lot of lenders, and I tell lenders the same thing. I don't want to know what the problem is. I want to know how we can fix the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
she's good at, and her team's good at.
We talked about Central Title in the beginning, just that's where you work. But we close about 80% of our stuff at Central. But very, very pleased. Great team
Thank
there.
you.
So let's plug them. If you got to close something, let's go to Central Title. They do a good job.
Thank you.
And just give all your abstract work to Lindsay.
No, she wants all the mobile homes. She
No,
loves mobile
please.
homes.
Not
I
the
closed a
mobile
mobile home. I think a year and a half ago. She's still working on that one.
Still working on it.
Okay.
They get me every time.
So you said typical closing time is about 30 days for a normal project.
For a
There's things that are going to take 45, maybe 60, maybe longer.
Absolutely.
And there's
Absolutely.
some that if you only have to go back to 2015, 2017, you can close a little bit quicker than that. 30 days. You get a file, you dive in. What's the first thing you're doing?
Researching.
Okay.
They're doing the
And
ladies
like,
in the abstract.
what are you, abstracts researching.
The first thing they do is start pulling deeds, looking for
How do they do that? How do they even pull a deed? Like internet
a
or?
lot. Well, so a lot of them have been put online, but
Okay.
we are actually the oldest title plant in Longview, so we
Okay.
have all the original actual deeds. Like we have
Central
them.
Title does.
We have them, yes.
Wow, that's cool. Nobody else
No,
has
they're-
those?
We have them.
There's a lot of when we need surveys and stuff like that.
There's one place to go.
Things like that come up. Any type of
Oh, I need a
restrictions.
survey, by the way. I do. Thank you for bringing that up. That's we talk about it, and that's how you
Text
get
it to me, and I'll,
Okay.
I'll look it up later.
awesome. This is good. I got sidetracked. Now, like I'm
She
thinking,
might charge
like,
you.
yes, that's fine.
No, just kidding.
Somebody would charge us.
No, yeah, somebody will charge.
So, okay, Abstract starts doing their
So
thing.
they're going to do that. They're going to look for any, like I said, anything that's been filed of record that would be against the property. So it could be federal tax liens. It could be marriages, divorces, deaths.
Work liens, or what do you call that? Like if somebody's working for you and you don't pay them, they can put a
mechanic lien?
Mechanic
Oh,
lien.
mechanics
Yeah.
lien, yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah, that would be one thing that Abstract would find. Okay.
So we'll look for marriages, divorces,
Okay.
deaths, heirs, anything like that. And they're going to compile all that information and let one of our title examiners look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so then what we'll do is we send that to underwriters. So just like lenders have underwriters, so do we.
Okay.
And an underwriter's going to pick it up and say, yep, I'm willing to insure this property if you can clear up these 5 things. And it could be, we need a survey.
What is an underwriter?
They're the people who insure the.
Okay, so it's an insurance policy for your title work, saying that this is good. They won't insure it if it's not good, right?
Correct.
And they said
Correct.
that you said that's the 5 things. Okay, change it, and then they say yes, we will insure on the basis of the information that you've given us. That if something were to happen or goes wrong after this,
Right.
you're
File a claim.
If we've missed something or if something was fraudulently done or something, you have an insurance policy up to the amount that the house was sold for.
And a lot of people don't know that.
I knew what title policy. I knew that title policy was always there, but I would have not have known that all that stuff goes in before
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't before I got into real estate.
Okay.
There's a lot of agents that really don't, and I actually asked Genty once, nicely, but like, what do agents learn about what we do? And he was like, honestly, nothing.
I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, unless we have someone. Now, Central Title's come in. A couple different title companies have come into our office during our sales training meeting, but they're really talking about their fees. They're talking about, they're not getting in depth.
Okay.
And I think it's good to get in depth because as a real estate agent, we know what our objective is. But in order to fully make the deal as smooth as possible and know what's going on, we need to know as much details as possible, especially about title work.
So do you guys ever do, from Central Title, do you ever go into real estate agencies and do any kind of training or anything?
I've gotten volunteered to do that. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So the answer is yes, but not
If
necessarily
we're
willingly,
invited,
huh? Okay.
If we're invited, yeah.
Okay. That'd be a great service, right? To go in so you can educate them so that, they understand the process. So when you explain something to them, say, hey, it's probably going to be, and you're probably working on variables on timelines, I would assume. It's like, I can't tell you that it's going to be 4 days from now. Right. I can tell you that maybe it's going to be between 15 and 35 or something.
Yeah.
As an agent, we just call every day and ask.
Yes.
Hey,
Y'all do?
Is it done? Is it done?
Spend the vast majority of my day just like on the phone. When are we closing? When are we closing?
If you didn't have to do that, you could probably get more done. Like, how many phone calls do you get a day? Hey, are we closing today? Are we closing tomorrow?
Probably
15 a day?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No.
How many of those are Genty?
A lot.
Genty Patel.
Like, if you scrolled through my call log right now, it's like only my husband and Genty pretty much.
Do you think it's going to get done faster if you call her 17 times? Do you think she forgot about you?
Well, she'll want me to quit calling. Yeah. That's the theory, at least. All real estate agents are prima donna.
All right,
the thing is, like, so you have 2 agents generally, so both of them are calling, and then, if they relay that to their, people, and their people are like, I'm not happy with that, then they'll call me. So I'm talking to the buyer and the seller, and then the lender's calling when we get in title works. I mean, could be 5 people.
Man.
Calling me.
I've taken it way too easy on you guys. Okay, I'm going to be real here for a second. Are you at it hard enough like that his calls are interrupting you, and that you would get it done quicker if he would quit calling you? Or sometimes do you need that subtle slap in the face reminder?
I mean, I try to stay on top of everything. Okay. I think Genty pretty well knows that, like, if I don't get him an answer within an hour, I've forgotten.
Okay.
So he'll call me back.
So the calls sometimes are legitimate.
The same thing. If she's asked me for payoff requests and I didn't get it for her, she's gonna be like, "Did you read your email?"
Yeah.
I'm the sticky note queen, though.
Okay.
Like, that's how I keep my sanity. It's just
Yeah.
like sticky notes everywhere. So if I'm waiting on something,
Are
or
they in a
needing
line
something,
or are they just
they're
like
just
everywhere?
sporadic.
Okay.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Wherever there's an open space.
But once I get an answer, I just throw it away. So.
Okay, you cleared it.
Mm-hmm.
You cleared it when it's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good way to do it. Too.
Yeah, I mean, you keep up with it unless you happen to lose it, like a sticky note falls off your desk.
Now, I have had one get stuck to something, and I found it like a long time later. And
Okay.
I was like, oh, I remember that's why I forgot that.
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, there you go. At least you
That's
know.
the sticky note.
At least you know. All right, so we made it through abstract.
Uh-huh.
We've made it through. We just made it through underwriting.
Mhm.
What happens now?
So now we're going to type a title commitment, and that's a document that details exactly what we need to get an insurance policy issued.
Okay.
So it's going to list like
A homeowner's insurance policy, basically,
a title policy.
Oh,
so,
title
so
policy.
a title
Okay.
policy you only pay for one time. You don't pay
Okay.
for it every year like you would do a homeowner's insurance
Okay.
policy. You just pay for it one time, and it's good till you die or
Till you
sell your
sell it,
house or
yep.
whatever. It's a one-time premium. So we're going to type a title commitment that says we need a payoff. We need a marital status affidavit, or if we've got heirs, we're going to need these heirs to sign out. We're going to have to track them down.
Okay.
So that's when I'll email that to Genty, and I'm like, hey, look what we need. I need payoff information so I can get that ordered. And that'll be, of course, the seller's payoff.
Okay.
Or if we have a judgment, we're going to have to start working on getting a release of the judgment. If someone's gotten a divorce, we have to make sure that now that they're selling, were they granted the property in the divorce?
Okay.
If they weren't, now I'm going to have to go find their ex-spouse and get a deed out of them,
Okay.
So that's when we're going to type the commitment that has all the requirements that we're going to need to meet in order to close.
Okay. This is good. This is really good information.
It is. It is.
For two reasons. If you want to be a escrow officer or a closer, like if you want your job title to say closer. Like, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, or woman, then you're being an escrow officer.
Yep.
So title policy and underwriting is kind of the same thing, but it's not. It's the underwriting that makes the title policy happen.
Yep.
When we get to title policy, all those things are done.
Yep.
Are we ready to close?
You issue a title policy after we close.
After you close.
So
okay.
I'm going to get that payoff. I'm going to get, divorce, whatever we need, whatever was listed on there that we have to get.
You keep saying divorce. Does this happen a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I deal with a lot too.
A lot of divorces. So once I've gotten everything I need, a survey, payoff, etc., then we can close. So then, the lender will send all their documents to me, because another thing that we do is we're the middleman between the buyers and the sellers and the lender.
Mm-hmm.
So we're dealing with the lenders as well. So we'll send all of our title work to the lender, the commitment to the lender, and then they send all of ours to their underwriter to review to make sure that they approve of everything that we've found. So then they review it, and they send us what's called a closing disclosure, and that's when we start working on numbers for, the buyers.
Okay. I've always wondered, there was a few situations that we've been through on closings where we don't know what we're bringing to the table until it's now. Is there any way to get that? Like most of the time it's like, hey, we're closing and maybe we're expecting to bring 15 and we're going to have to bring 30. This has happened to us a few times.
Oh, okay.
And how does a buyer avoid that and it's usually like, hey, we thought you were going to do 15, but it's 35 now and we're closing tomorrow. Right. Is there any way to prepare better for that as a buyer? Or can I say, hey, can we push that closing back 3 days? Because you got
absolutely.
We move money around all the time.
Right.
Right.
You can't move $30,000 around in 4 hours.
You're gonna need to get with your lender.
Yeah, that's a lender problem.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I mean the lender's the one that decides what your terms are.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically just
putting it on a piece of paper.
They already put the lender send it over to them.
Mm-hmm.
They print it out, and they're just having you sign.
Okay.
That you're in agreement
That's
and
good.
notarize it.
So your situation's a little different. So since you're an investor, most of your properties are sold on what's called a HUD statement.
Okay.
most buyers are going to be what's on a closing disclosure.
All right, tell me the difference.
Usually the HUDs are just for like investment properties or cash deals.
Okay.
And closing disclosures are issued by lenders that
Okay.
are,
Like
doing a
personal
residential personal property. Yeah.
Okay.
And so lenders are supposed to release their closing disclosure to their buyers 3 days prior to closing.
Okay.
They're
So
supposed to.
typical is 3 days.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, now I know that.
That
3
doesn't
days.
always happen,
No,
but
I mean
it's supposed to.
Yeah, round that down.
they're supposed, the lender's supposed to release it to you. Most of the time, it's the day before.
Okay.
But, I mean, they have to balance, and they want the numbers to be right. You got taxes, you got all different types of fees and real estate commission. So it's got to be balanced pretty close to the time you're closing, not 2 weeks before.
Okay.
So the
Makes
lender's going to
sense.
send us all their fees. So we put all their fees into our system, and we send closing disclosures back and forth between
Okay.
me and the lender until ours
So you get it
match.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What can what can an agent, a buyer, or seller do to make your job? I mean, your job is your job, right?
Right.
It's not easy, but what can they do to make your job a little bit easier through that whole process?
One thing you're really good about is
Oh, don't toot his horn. Oh, my gosh.
I have a lot of agents that are really good at a lot of things. I say I have. There's, ones that use me primarily. But, like, you always seem to find out whether or not someone's been divorced or they're getting a divorce or someone's deceased or something like that. Whereas there's a lot of agents that'll just send me a file and all of a sudden, we've been researching it for 2 weeks. And now 2 weeks later, I have to be like, hey, is your seller in the middle of a divorce right now? And they're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, information could have
And-
used.
Or
Yeah.
did the seller just pass away like 3 months ago? Is this actually their daughter? And they're like, oh, I'm like, okay, that would have been great to know 2 weeks ago. We could have really gotten ahead of some stuff.
Okay,
here.
that's good. That's really
Well,
good.
trying to know your task again. One of my things is I want it to flow as easy and fast as possible for my clients. And if I don't give her all the details, how is she supposed to know?
Well, you're giving her those details because you understand the process of
Right.
title. Which
Well, we're going to find it out, but
You're right.
I would rather know on day 1 or day 2 instead of getting 2 weeks into it. And now we're having to track down heirs that live all across the country. And maybe they don't want to sell mom's house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you get into stuff like that.
And you guys your company doesn't charge unless you close, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
if it cancels
there's
and I
you-
work on it for 45 days, that's
That just
that's it.
happened
Oh,
today.
my goodness. Can you turn down a job? Like if you get, say, 10 days into it and abstract's like, there's 170 heirs on this property, or there could be. Can y'all just say, hey, we're going to wash?
Can.
Y'all
I've
ever do
never
that?
seen them do that.
No.
They're not-
Man,
I mean,
I
the object is to get the deal done.
Yeah, that's true.
And the same thing with me, I want, not saying I want, but I like doing the hard deals.
You do, really?
Yeah,
Challenge?
I tell people that I feel like I'm my best when my back's up against the wall.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't like to do mobile home hard deals. But those
Why are
deals,
mobile homes hard to do?
because you got to file them with the
State.
state. And
Okay.
I mean, it's
just-
basically like having a car. It's got a title like a car. So you're
Right.
working on the actual physical property and with the state of Texas to like
So it's
transfer
separate.
the title of the mobile home.
So like a regular house is all considered as one,
Mhm.
where the mobile home has the title and you have the land and you're working it all together.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And the state of Texas gives you heck.
What about like if I bought a mobile home park, would that just be a nightmare?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay, get ready.
Yeah.
Might be doing that.
Now, you
Well-
won't be closing that one with me. Miss Beverly will take care of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's our commercial. She does a lot of our commercial deals. and
Miss
stuff like that.
Beverly.
Miss
Let's
Beverly.
say if Miss Beverly is watching, we love Miss Beverly. We've closed a few things with her, and she is a hard-nosed closer, and she will tell you what she needs and when she needs it and how she needs it. I do appreciate it. She's very upfront about what she needs. She's also very upfront when we make a mistake as the party that is closing, which we have. And
Yeah.
so, but we need to know those things. She does take the time to educate,
Absolutely.
and that's really nice. Now, any closing statements from either one of you?
I mean, I think that it's key for people to know about the title end of it. having a good title company, having a good relationship. This doesn't mean that there aren't other great title companies out there, 100%. There are people that are able to connect and get together better than some other title companies. But I appreciate everything that she does and her team does and the company does as a whole. And so I wanted to bring her on so that people and the general consumers know a little bit about title.
Yeah, I would encourage any agent, if they have any questions, just come swing by one day and one of us will walk you through the title plant, what's called the title plant, where all of those deeds are, and kind of explain exactly what we do.
What kind of, are you a coffee drinker?
I am.
What's your favorite place to get coffee?
I love Yukon coffee.
And what's your favorite drink to get from Yukon?
Oh, what is the you?
I never
like a
drank
macchiato
there.
or something?
I drink 7 Brew, their iced coffee.
Oh.
You don't know your favorite? Is it caramel? Is it vanilla?
It's caramel.
Is it hot or cold?
It's cold.
Okay, something caramel cold from Yukon Coffee before you go get her to show you around and give you all the information. Take her some dadgum coffee. Same thing with the other agents there. Who's going to be on the next show?
I think we're going to have Ariana Thompson, Lending World.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That'd be great.
And right now it's key, so
yeah,
people can look forward to that.
So thanks for tuning in. Lindsay from Central Title. Remember, if you close with Central. If you have abstract, ask Lindsay. No, I'm just kidding. That's not Lindsay's job. Just giving her a
I'll
hard
get
time.
you an answer. But
There you go.
not my
You will.
job.
Yeah. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Thank
you.
Thank you very much. Y'all keep in mind to be patient with your closing officer. And if you have questions, just be cordial about them. And if you have information, give that information up. It'll speed your process up. Thanks for being here today. I can't remember our tagline for the end of the show because I did a podcast this morning that was on another show. I think it's love God, love others, and let your work reflect that. We'll catch you on the next one.